with children, adults, and I love working with women and their issues. So I want to start this session today by having you think about some different scenarios that we face as women. So just think for a moment. You're married. And you have a tumultuous relationship with your spouse. As a matter of fact, your spouse is abusive. And so therefore, you are constantly stressed out and you have to make a decision about what to do to help manage your life. So there's an instance where a situation occurs with you and your spouse. And this is the situation that breaks the camel's back. In other words, it's the day that you decide to leave. Scenario number 2. You are employed and you're having some difficulties on the job. Matter of fact, you don't even like your job. However, we all need our jobs because that's how we get by, okay? So it is the end of the year and people are getting contracts renewed. They're getting letters about what to expect for the next work season. And you already know that your boss doesn't like you. So it's time to have that evaluation. And your boss says to you, let's go downstairs for the meeting. And you step on the elevator and your heart is racing because you are anticipating what is about to happen and you feel stressed out. Scenario number 3, you are a mother and you have 3 or more kids and your kids are different ages and you have to take these kids to different activities. And so what you do is you try to plan how I'm going to take Sarah to cheer, Johnny to basketball, and Trevor to football. And it can be overwhelming. That's what stress is. Okay? Next scenario. As a mom, we are often faced with the responsibility of raising our children in a God-fearing manner. So, you have a teenage daughter, and you've already trained her on how to behave in social situations. However, she forgot. She forgot that training. And you get a call from the school, and she has skipped school and went off to be with her boyfriend. Okay? These are all scenarios that women face. And our stress is different from men because of our nurturing nature. Okay? Now, what is stress? I'm going to start with the clinical because, like I said, I'm a therapist and I'm also a counselor at a school and I work with a lot of different people. So I want you to know what stress is. It is a reaction to a challenge or change. And sometimes people say, I don't get stressed out. But yes, we do. Sometimes we get stressed when we're driving down the freeway and we think someone's about to impact our vehicle. We get stressed in different social situations, okay? Stressor is a negative reaction that you get from stress. Because face it, stress can be a motivator or it can be harmful, okay? So, stress is detrimental if it is chronic and long-term. Chronic means that it's over a long period of time. It's debilitating. You can't function. It stops you from doing the things that you want to do to get by in this world. According to the American Institute for Stress in Yonkers, 43% of adults suffer from stress, and it causes us to miss work. Matter of fact, 75 to 90% of our visits to the doctor are because of stress. It seems like a symptom of an illness, but quite frankly, sometimes it is overwhelmingly the things that are going on in our life, okay? What are some acute forms of stress? Can anyone in the room name some other than these? Because I said divorce, meaning that the breakup of any relationship. And Financial. Death. If you lose someone. I lost both my mom and my dad within a 13-month period. And that was highly stressful for me because I had been a caregiver. And being a caregiver is stressful also. Okay? Taking care of someone, they call it the sandwich generation because I had a son in high school and I had my mother over here suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's, and I had to run from place to place and still function as an adult, as a counselor, as a therapist, as a child of God. Okay? Children leaving the nest. Well, how many people have had some children leave the nest in here? I know I have. My youngest one is about to graduate in June of next year. Praise be to God. And I'm going to give him the glory for that, for helping me raise him. Some other acute forms of stress that we don't think about, one, I'm going to tell you, is media overload. When I say media overload, I mean the TV, the news, I mean this right here, because this controls. I mean, I'm driving down the freeway, and I'm guilty just like everyone else. I'm driving, and I see everybody driving and doing this, when we are not supposed to be doing that, okay? I talked about a scenario about job pressure. It doesn't have to be a bad evaluation. It could just be, I'm not getting along with my coworkers. Or I disagree with some of the philosophies that are going on in my place of employment. So there we are. Any other stressors that you ladies can think of? I'm gonna say health. A lot of times we are dealing with, it could be diabetes, which I'll kind of scatter over in the later slide, but any chronic long-term illness is a stressor on us. Whether we're worried about getting to a doctor's appointment, I didn't hear it. Arthritis.
Getting older.
Getting older. And I'll say getting older because once we get older, I think the speaker before me was talking about financial stability. If we don't have a certain amount of money saved up, we are going to be stressed out. Quite frankly, we're going to be worrying about how to manage in retirement. Because once we get in retirement, our income is fixed, right? Okay, ladies.
And lower.
And lower, yes.
And medical bills higher.
Now, typical reasons for stress can include getting stuck in traffic. Personally, I hate it because I drive 40 minutes one way every day to get to work, and sometimes I get stuck. Running late. Now, most of the time when we're running late, that's our fault. You know, we didn't plan, okay? An argument with your spouse, significant other, or your child. And being a therapist, when people come to see me, I hear them talking about arguments, not getting along with people. And guess what? When you are having an argument, how do you feel? Somebody tell me, how you feel?
Stressed.
Stressed, right. Your heart is racing, right? Just like the elevator scene that I described, okay? Money problems. Money problems is probably the top stressor. Be it not having enough money or having too much money, okay? Deadlines. Deadlines. And we all have to meet deadlines. It could be something simple as leaving this event today and going to another event. That's a deadline, okay? Getting projects turned in to work on time. Those are deadlines. And just trying to figure out the things that we do daily. Procrastination. This is my favorite one. Because I am a high school counselor and kids will tell me, well, I need this tomorrow. And they want a recommendation letter. You can't put that on me. You know, I'm a gracious person, so I'm gonna probably do it, but you're creating a situation that's becoming an emergency instead of planning to do it the right way. So let's not procrastinate, because procrastination, it gets you nervous. Go back. I talked about long-term and chronic stressors, and I just want you to look at them. What's different about men and women, first is the first one, women. A lot of times we are single, head of households, sad to say, and other times we are married. But however, there are more women living below the poverty line than there are men. And I'll give you an example too about just how, number two, the discrimination that women face. I started a job last year, and so I talked to my friend, and we were talking about salaries, right? So why is it that the man makes more money than me, but I have more experience than him? It's just the world that we're living in. So discrimination can be gender specific, it can be racial, it can be a bunch of different things, okay? Traumatic events. I gave you the scenario about the domestic violence. And in that situation, this particular lady had to escape her abuser and drive 6 hours away. Many of times I've talked to students in my office, and I had a little boy like 2 years ago that told me that in the middle of the night, his mom left the boyfriend because the boyfriend beat her up, punched him in the stomach, and they just, he didn't have his inhaler for his asthma. So we don't know when situations are going to occur, but I don't think that God made any of these traumatic events something that we have to encounter them sometimes, but sometimes we can do something about them. Domestic violence, we can do something about that, okay? Whether it's taking a stand or leaving, okay? Assault, a lot of women do not like to admit that they've been the victim of an assault, physical assault, sexual assault, whatever type, but that is something that a person should seek counseling for. And then a traumatic death. It's sad, you know, when we hear these stories on the news. We just heard one where a 7-year-old girl was killed, a 3-year-old was ejected from a car. All these things are things that we don't anticipate happening, but they happen every day. Yes?
What about when you become accustomed to these different levels? Because these are things, well, other than the really serious view of the domestic